Hi, I'm Erica Ramirez, founder of Illy and host of What About Your Friends, a podcast dedicated to the many lives of friendship and how it's portrayed in pop culture. Every Wednesday on the Ringer Dish feed, I talk to my best friend Stephen Othello and your favorites from within the Ringer and beyond about friendships on TV, in movies, pop culture, and our real lives. So join me every Wednesday on the Ringer Dish feed where we try to answer the question TLC asked back in the day, what about your friends?
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. All right, it's official. I think I've discovered the ultimate coupling of all time. Like any good relationship, they really balance each other out. One is super sweet, and the other, well, they can be a little nutty sometimes. It is, of course, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. So perfect, some would call it true love. Find Reese's now at a store near you. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. Welcome to Bachelor Party. It's May. It's the Love Island UK Series 3 rewatch. Today, we are talking about episodes 9 to 12. Programming note, next week on Monday, we'll be talking about 14 to 19. So keep up, everybody. It's a quick pace, but hey, these episodes were really fun, and I'm really excited to talk about them. Callie, we got a bombshell. We got a lot of shakeups. A lot happened. I mean,
a lot happened. Also, this was a true bombshell. Like, he fucking rocked the villa.
I have to say, not to be too much like Olivia, but I was like, wow, this is a really handsome man. I was just like, he is really good looking. He's a Londoner. His name is Mike.
This is
right?
Mike. Yeah. And this is what Olivia said. He's very fit. He is very fit.
She was like pissed. She was mad at him for being very fit.
He is insanely attractive. His eyes are, he's a worldie.
He kind of looks like Carl Urban, but like hotter. You know, the guy from The Boys.
I don't know who Carl Urban is.
The guy in The Boys. You know that show?
Oh, interesting.
But I would say hotter.
Huh.
I'm more into Mike.
Yeah. Also, he's insanely tan.
I think he probably went tanning before this. Also, I have questions about what they do before they get sent in, but that's for another day. We will talk all about Mike. We must begin with perhaps the most interesting conversation I've seen happen on reality TV, maybe ever. It was the conversation between Camilla and Johnny about women's equality and if women have equality that led to their very precipitous demise. And I was not prepared for this, but basically what happened is I think they were talking about who would pay on a date. And Johnny was saying he would never let Camilla pay. And this somehow led to them talking about feminism in general and women's equality. And Johnny believes women have equality and Camilla does not.
I would say two things. First of all, when he said, I wouldn't let you pay, I was like, yeah. Like, maybe say, I wouldn't want you to pay.
I was like, take a hike, Johnny. And that was a real turn. That was a real ick for me.
It was an ick for me too. Also, I wanted to be like, let's get real here. Camilla makes the most fucking money in this house.
That's a great point. I will say, as someone still dating, when a guy doesn't offer to pay, my feelings are hurt. And it's not because I want them to pay, but because I know how men think. And there's so many of them are such idiotic chauvinists that even though it is 2023, that they feel like they have to pay. And if they don't want to, it's like an indication to me that they're not interested. So that's why it hurts my feelings, not because I want them to pay.
Well,
you haven't been on a date in a long time. So what do you know?
Well, one, I was going to say I've been on a date in a long time. Two, I didn't really date. It was talk relationship. Like, I didn't really date.
Yeah, you've lived an abnormal life. So I don't know what to tell you.
Every guy I've gone on a date with ended up being my boyfriend, I would say.
Had you hooked up with them before you already gone on a date?
No.
No, you're like Camilla. It's moving too fast for you.
Yeah. But I would say that I either knew I was paying. Like there was times where I dated people where I was like, I know I'm paying if I want to go anywhere other than McDonald's. Other than that, then like they would just pay. I feel like that's awkward. It's like an awkward combo to have to go through. I would have no problem paying, but to your point, I agree. If they didn't offer to pay, I'd be like, oh, you don't want to fuck me.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, okay, fuck you. You don't want to fuck me? Well, then fuck you.
Fuck you. Also, I'm not paying. You don't want to fuck me? I'm not paying. Yeah. I'm only willing to pay if we're both on the same page.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. But I also would fucking hate for a guy to say, I wouldn't let you pay.
Of course.
I'd be like, okay.
Of course.
So that was the very beginning of the combo. And I was like, this is going to go south.
I thought so too.
And I remembered it right when it started happening. I was like, oh, fuck. Because remember last week you were like, I really like Johnny. And I remember being like, I remember not liking him, but I couldn't remember what it was. Then right when he said let, I was like, this is it.
I now hate Johnny. I wouldn't say he redeemed himself after this fight, but also him being like, well, the prime minister's a woman. I was just like, okay, man, thanks. That's people being like, we no longer have racism in America because of Barack Obama.
100%. That's what I was thinking. Or when they're like, well, this person does it. I'm like, you're pulling out one example out of a billion. Also, I did like that Camilla didn't even really want to get into it. She was like, right when he said that, she was like, yeah, I mean, I could give you a million things, but you're not going to get it. So,
especially someone like Camilla who's traveled. One thing that made me really sad was that Camilla was blaming herself for having this conversation.
Oh, I know.
And she was like taking on all of this like blame,
guilt
for like having had this conversation that ruined her perception of Johnny and like blew up the relationship, where like obviously he's the one who should be like, wow, I'm so ignorant. Now this really worldy isn't going to be interested in me anymore. And it was just super depressing. But like, as we keep saying though, everything with Camilla is very real.
Yeah, I was going to say it also felt relatable because I feel like the biggest thing is Camilla's obviously way smarter than him,
yes.
Which I would say to Johnny, I don't necessarily think he's a bad guy. I think he's dumb.
Yeah, I think he's dumb, but I also think he's arrogant. So he doesn't like acknowledge that perhaps he doesn't know something.
Yeah, he's not open to learning.
Yes.
He thinks he knows.
Yeah. He just like he thinks sexism is solved. He's just like, we're good. Theresa May, we're set. So
that also, it was sad because you could tell that she was genuinely like upset with herself. I don't think that she thinks, I mean, her being like, this is why you don't move too fast. And I was like, girl, you're not moving fast at all. This is why you move fast. So you have these conversations and you can be like, oh yeah,
like, this is not a fit. This is not it.
Yeah. I also wanted to be like, which I think all the girls, like none of the girls were like, yeah, most of the girls, maybe except for Chloe. But again, I don't think Chloe's the fucking brightest bulb in the world. But all the other girls were kind of like, you did nothing wrong. Like you can have this conversation with him. Like those are your opinions. Don't feel bad about it. But I wanted to be like, you weren't talking shit about him. You were telling the girls what happened.
I know. And then they were just like commiserating. So yeah. So then the next morning, she and Amber basically are chatting in like the bathroom, the makeup room. And they're talking about his bad manners, which I thought was really interesting. And I was like, good points, gals. Good points. Like how he doesn't help clean up. And he's just like very focused on like, you know, his own nourishment or whatever.
Smoking.
Yeah. And those are like good indicators of if someone has like, you know, if they're socially graceful, if they think about other people. And at first I was like, wow, that conversation got back to him really quickly. Cause I was like, how does he know? Because when they're having that conversation, you don't see that he can actually hear them. Because then it turns out that he overheard, which like, I'm not sure I completely believe. Cause I guess this villa is not outfitted with like cameras literally everywhere, but I'm like, shouldn't they show us Johnny overhearing it if he really did overhear?
They did.
They did?
They showed him in the bathroom and he's looking down and then he looked up and then he's just standing there. And then once their conversation's wrapping up, he like purposely walks so that they can see him. Like he wanted them to be like that. He wanted them to know, I just heard you chatting shit. And Amber saw him and was like, Like she immediately was like, uh-oh.
Oh, somehow I missed that.
Yeah, they showed him hearing and they showed him walking out and Amber being like, oh, fuck, he heard us.
And then he's like immediately over her. I think he's just obviously like, he sucks. Like,
they're not.
He's arrogant.
No, I think he was into her because he was safe.
Good point.
I feel like he was like, of course I'm going to keep getting to know her. I'm like, yeah, of course you are, because there's no one else that likes you.
And now we see they have nothing in common.
Nothing. Even him and Chloe, like Chloe's kind of like, And we see at the very end in episode 12 when Liv goes on a date with Mike, where she's like, you don't look your age or whatever. And then she's like, I didn't think that you were like, 30 old and boring like Johnny. And I was like, yeah, no one else is into Johnny.
I hope he goes soon. I mean, I feel like he has to. Although, obviously, the next thing, the boys will be recoupling. So I guess he'll survive that. I wonder who he'll pick. We'll come back to that at the end. But I was just blown away by everything we got at Camilla. And then in the Dares, Truth or Dare, impromptu, someone asked if she dated Prince Harry. And I was like, oh, so this is how everyone knows about it, because it was on the show.
Camilla
she's confusing.
She's really confusing.
I was really confused by her bathing suit choice for the twerking challenge and how...
I mean, her boobs are all over the place.
He also just looks so uncomfortable.
Also, she has great boobs.
I know, but like they need some support. Like I just wanted some underwire for her.
Yeah, no, it's like she's like so soft and I think Amber described her as a ninja, and I was like, correct.
Yeah,
like you don't really know what you're gonna get. The twerking talent challenge, she went all out. The makeout challenge, she went all out. Like you just don't know what you're gonna get from her.
I think she's got a freaky side, but she's really self-conscious. Like that's my read on her personally.
I would say out of everyone, she's definitely the most aware of how this could affect her life.
Definitely. And yet she's still there.
Yeah, like I think she's a very serious person and is like, oh, not really sure what I got myself into. I'm having fun, but I can't take it too far.
She wants to be able to continue having a career after this, which obviously I support. So
yeah,
I look forward to seeing how things evolve with her.
Wait. Before we go on.
Yes.
Last podcast, I had not watched 8, and I'll admit that. And I watched 8, obviously, going into this because I had to catch up to 12. How the hell did you not talk about Chris sitting on the couch being like, everyone in this fucking villa fancies me? Like, he's obsessed with himself.
He's so funny. He's such a dick. It's so funny. But the thing that's upsetting is that it works on any of these girls. And like, yes, many of the girls do fancy him. And he, like, to me, he's a joke. Like, I'm just like, oh, you are... It's kind of like he's like Zoolander, like so obsessed with himself.
Oh yeah, he is kind of like Zoolander because Zoolander's also funny. I will say the girls that sniff it out, like Gabby's like, not for me. Yeah. Chris, you are not for me. Same with Camilla. Camilla's like, no, thank you. Montana, no, thank you, Chris. And I think Montana likes Chris. Like you can see in these episodes, they're like good friends.
Oh, definitely.
But she doesn't really like, she's like, you're good looking, but like, she's just not into it. Like after one conversation, she was like, nah.
I feel like Montana's into people who aren't traditionally hot. I feel like we're going to see that in the future. That's based on the info that I have. I feel like that's what she's into.
I'll also say that Montana really gave us a lot these episodes.
She's great. She's like, now that she doesn't have anyone she's into, she's just become like kind of like funny and just like a good narrator. And like,
yeah, she's been really funny. The guys seem to really like her.
Yeah.
Like they all have one-on-one combos with her.
You know what's funny?
And she's funny.
When they were all like, or I think Kem said that. The two guys said it, Kem and Dom. I think they were like, obviously Montana should win the twerking challenge. She's got the best ass. Everyone knows that. Yeah. And I was like, does everyone know that? Like, is that something that everyone was aware of?
I will say that after they said that, every opportunity I had to look for that, I did.
Of course, me too.
And it's great.
She's beautiful. I mean, she's really pretty. I also another insane bathing suit choice for the twerking challenge. I mean, apparently her nipples were everywhere. Get yourself some support, girls. But she was really fun, and the way that she just sort of like hangs out because she's not particularly interested in anyone and is very like appealing to me. I'm just like, she seems like a good time.
Also, I know we said that she's funny. I don't even know if she's necessarily funny, but somehow she pulls the funny out of other people. Like every conversation with her, I'm laughing and she's also laughing. Like I'm like, she makes other people be really funny. Like when she went over there with Amber and was like, didn't necessarily lie. I just, went along with things that maybe I shouldn't have. And Amber was like, what? And she was like, I don't know. And Amber was like moving in, like everything. I feel like the banter with her makes other people really funny.
It's because she's so dry. It's like she just plays, she's like deadpan all the time. And they're so much more like just silly. And so the combination makes me laugh. I've been laughing a lot. I really have been, except for the Camilla stuff, but in general, I've just been laughing very much. Oh, it was so funny how excited Kim and Dom were the morning after they had sex, as if they had never had sex before. And they like went and jumped on the bed together.
I also love, because obviously I love Kim, I love how everyone just casually throws out how funny he is. Jess was like, I wasn't pissing on the floor laughing like with Kim. And I was like, right, exactly. Kim makes everyone laugh so hard. I also, from watching these episodes, I get so excited, obviously, because I remember stuff and I'm like, oh, Juliet has to be loving this. I love knowing someone else is loving this. And I was thinking about it. The group is really dynamic. They have all different types of people.
And a lot of shifting relationships and friendships. And yeah, I really like it, especially when Chloe was like, when Mike gave her the insight into what he was going to do. I think it was Mike at the end. And she then immediately went and told everyone else. It was so funny. She was like, yeah, I told everyone.
I think that's watching these episodes, I was like, this is why this season is so good. They casted it so fucking well. I love that Liv and Jess are obviously the super wild girls in real life. And they clearly get along. I love that they're supportive and strong in that sense. And then Amber, I think, is a little pistol.
She wears trousers.
Camilla. Yeah, Camilla is obviously way different than everybody else.
But everyone likes her.
Then, yeah, I mean, everyone likes everyone. Who do people not like? And then you have Montana, who's different and is kind of reserved, but has really good chat and is pretty. And then Gabby and Marcel are also awesome. Everyone's great.
Montana seems kind of posh of this group.
She is.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny when Amber was going around and yelling to each person individually, who wears the trousers? Who wears the trousers?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why this season is, obviously Kim is a runaway leader for me, but there's not anyone where I'm maybe, I mean, even Johnny, I think he's just stupid. But there's no one that I'm ugh, go home.
There's no one like Olivia from season 9 who I despise.
Yeah. And every other season, there's people where I'm I absolutely hate this person.
Yeah, I agree. And they just seem like they're having a really good time. As far as I can tell, they chose to do Truth or Dare just on their own for fun. Yeah, just to have a good time. And it led to Kim jumping in the pool with all of his clothes on and messing up his very perfectly coiffed hair. It was so funny. I love that.
Yeah, no, the relationships on this show are what make it so good. And I know you love friendship. You see the friendships forming, even Liv and Kim, I love it. I love that Kim went out of his way to be you need to stay with Chris. Don't let this guy. And then he was like, wait, should I be worried about Amber? And Liv was like, Kim, shut the fuck up. No.
I know.
And she's like, I don't know. She said this, this, and this. And she's like, relax. She'll come talk to you. Don't worry about it.
It is really cute. You can see there's a couple of clear, close friendships. First of all, Marcel and Camilla. Maybe that's something more. He is always comforting her.
Obsessed with her. Obsessed.
But he also seems really into Gabby. I really like Gabby, by the way. She's coming on strong. She crushed it in the twerking challenge. She was teaching everyone. She should have won. They just rigged it for Ty and Lexi because she needed to go on a date with someone.
Yes. And as much as I said I don't dislike anyone, and I'm fine with Ty not being on the show.
I mean, she's obviously leaving. She doesn't have a connection. I can't imagine she's getting coupled up with.
But no, I love that Gabby was like, oh, I'm going to go teach all the girls to twerk. And then she was like, wait, this is going to be so much fun. I want to do it. And then she was like, are you okay with that? And Marcel's like, yeah, have fun.
He's like, yeah, I want you to have a good time here. One thing I like about this season is that nobody's obsessed with playing the game. They're you can be open about are you there for love or are you there for a good time? Which is great. If you're there for a good time, okay. I hope, maybe you'll find something more. But I like how it's not this you must fall in love, otherwise you've failed.
Also, there's no like, you're such a game player.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. It's just like, they're just like having
It's
fun.
a silly show. It doesn't need to be anything more than that.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's funny how like there's a different host for each game. It's often Kim. But
yeah.
just the way that like they kind of like host each other. I don't know. The vibes are really good right now. I've really, even though they fight, they just get over it really quickly. But
yeah, I was going to say, even when they're not good, they like just move on very quickly. Like Olivia lost her shit, was screaming at the top of her lungs at people.
Literally
and then
everyone.
Marcel was like not having it.
No.
He was like, you are not going to talk to them like that. And then like the next day they're like, are we okay? Yeah, cool. All good.
I guess Liv has a temper. One thing I noticed is, did you notice when she was like getting into bed and she was wearing like a really uncomfortable thong and like a long sweatshirt? Yep. I was like, what the fuck is that outfit? I was just like, is she in the middle of changing and she stopped halfway? I think
confused. That there are two types of women in the world.
Okay.
One type wears thongs to sleep.
That's
the others
crazy.
Do not.
That is genuinely insane. I definitely do not myself.
I couldn't. I would rather just be naked.
Of course.
Even on television.
Yeah.
I'd rather be naked.
Also, just put on like I just put on like a big shirt or like one of the guys' sweatshirts. Although all of their clothes are really small, but just put on something big and have no bottoms.
Literally anything but that.
I was just like, what is she doing?
I'm a big briefs. I'm a briefs girl.
For sleeping.
Yeah, but I'm not wearing a thong. There's not a scenario where I'm wearing a thong.
I hate wearing thongs. Like I only do it out of necessity.
100%. I will say this. I don't love wearing thongs, but what I hate more than wearing thongs is underwear lines. So if I'm ever in public, I'm either in a thong or no underwear. There's not going to be underwear lines.
You know, there's been a lot of innovations in seamless underwear, and like Skims make some good ones too. Something for you to keep in mind. There's some other options.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Even the seamless, I feel like you can still see it.
I think a lot of people feel the same way as you. So I get it.
Especially in a dress, by the way.
A dress is also with a dress, like most of the time I would say I want to wear like Spanx if I'm wearing a dress, like just to kind of have better lines overall.
I've worn Spanx once in my life and I felt like I could have passed out at any moment.
Maybe they were too tight.
And it was the NBA draft.
For your brother?
Yeah. And I remember afterwards being like, why the fuck did I do this?
Were you at his table or something?
Yeah, but like, I don't even know. First of all, I'll be completely honest. At that time, I was rail thin. Like I had barely any fat on me. Why did I think I needed to do that? I don't know. I feel like it was just like a thing at the time. So I was like, oh yeah, of course, you wear this underneath your dress. I'll send you a picture of how skinny I was. I did not need them. And I legitimately felt lightheaded the entire night. They might have been too tight. I'd never worn them before. I had no idea what I was doing. I do know that after that, I was like, if I can get to a place, I'd rather wear a flowy dress than wear Spanx again.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
they're so uncomfortable.
I like them sometimes. Like, if they fit right, I'm like, oh, this holds me in a way that feels really comfortable.
Okay. Correct. I probably got the wrong size because of how tight they were. So I will, in the next month or so, especially postpartum, I will wear the right size Spanx and I'll get back to you guys.
Okay, great. I can't wait to hear about that. Also, I've heard that Skims shapewear is really good too. So I know you're a Skims fan.
Yes, oh God, I don't like to say that publicly, but yeah.
Sorry. My bad, I outed you.
But I have heard also that Skims has great shapewear.
Yeah, I'm going to try it too. Also, I've heard that their strapless bra actually is really good, which I don't believe because I think strapless bras don't work. But I heard that's good. Yeah, that's what people say.
I think that there's a few good strapless bras until you go over a D cup, and then strapless bras are fake.
Tell me about it. All right. Let's keep talking. This has been a wonderful segment on undergarments. I hope you've all enjoyed it. More on Love Island. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need. Have coverage options to protect the things you value most. File a claim right on the State Farm mobile app and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
They move on from the fights really quickly. And one thing they all say, and I don't think they know the meaning of, is like, clear the air. They're just like, we need to clear the air. But I don't think they understand what that means, which also was really funny to me because did you watch Succession this week?
Yeah.
Tom was like, why don't we clear the air? And so there's been a lot of clearing in the air this week, but it made sense on Succession. Here it does not.
That clear the air was
awesome.
It was hard.
Hard to watch.
Yeah.
Great television though.
Yeah. Clear the air on this show does not mean that. Clear the air on this show is kind of like, let's just move on.
Let's address our beef and move on. But it's not like something that's been like simmering for a long time or under the surface that you need to get to. It's usually within 24 hours.
It's not like they don't have a conversation like, let's clear the air about everything that's happening. It's just like, yeah, this happened. Let's move on. And
yeah.
Like, okay.
Johnny was like, basically, I don't want it to be awkward with you anymore, Camilla. Like, it's been too awkward for one day. So let's move on and clear the air. So what do you think about Mike? Like, do you like him? His name is Mike. He doesn't look like a Mike to me at all. So I'm like surprised that's his name.
I like the way Mike looks. I think he's objectively a very handsome guy and his eyes are unreal.
He's beautiful.
Even Kem was like, okay, let's, because they were having a back and forth about how he's not more fit than them. And Kem was kind of like, all right, Chris, let's just be honest here. He's really fucking fit. He has the most piercing eyes I've ever seen in my life. But his personality is kind of like meh.
He's really quiet so far.
He reminds me of like everyone on reality shows that are really attractive. And you're just like, yeah, the personality's not there. And it's kind of like, yeah, they didn't have to have a personality their entire life because it's attractive.
He's never needed to. And did he say he's a footballer?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He said that he's like, he said he's like a footballer and then a trainer part-time. So I'm like, yeah, so you're not really a footballer. Like you want to be one and you're not, so you're a trainer.
Yeah. I was like, they were kind of more excited he was a trainer, which I think I would be too. Just more stability. You just would have a better chance of like knowing what was up.
Also free training. Great.
Yeah, that too.
I thought it was hilarious how Chris was just going around being like, do you think I'm more fit than him?
Chris being so threatened by him was awesome. We needed it. Chris needed to be taken down a peg. So I love to see it.
We really needed it. I loved when Liv was like, Chris was a fucking asshole this whole time. I worked my magic on him. Now he's wonderful. And then they put fucking Mike in here, who's like a bit of me. He's fucking buff. He's fit. And she's like, and I want him to sit on my face. It probably would hurt, but I want him to sit on my face.
The thing that's also really funny about that is that usually women say, I want to sit on their face.
Yeah, I think she must have gotten the wording confused and then just went with it. Like she was like, I want him to sit on my face and thought about it and was like, sounds like that would hurt, but I'm into it. Sit on my face. Also, that visual is hilarious.
It reminds me of the challenge where they had to figure out what fruit was being pushed up their bum with the blindfold. That was a really weird one.
Also, when Montana got plum, I was like, that is impossible to get.
So weird. She's so weird.
Sam had to have been whispering it to her. If you sat on someone's lap, there's nothing about a plum that would make you go, oh, plum. For
also,
sure, plum.
It's kind of small and also like a weird texture. So it's just like, it's not obvious at all.
It's just a ball. Like, it would have been a ball, a baseball. Like, no one is going plum.
All of the fruits were weird.
If they did a pineapple, I'd be like, yeah, that's okay. I get it. I get how she got pineapple. Plum? No. Someone was telling her what it was.
Yeah, he had to have. Good point. I didn't even think about that. The whole thing was like so chaotic. I was just like, I don't even know what's happening here. This whole thing is completely crazy. But I liked it.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
This is not necessarily like, because this was a dumb challenge and like whatever, Gabby just wanted to do it. But in general, if there was an option to do these challenges to get a date with a new guy, if you were in a good relationship, would you do it or not?
I think I would. Not just to not only to have fun, but also like it's still early days. It's early days, guys. Yeah. Gotta keep them on your toes.
Gotta keep them on the toes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And I feel like I think Jess and Dom, that's either gonna like burn out spectacularly or they're married. That's one way or the other. I don't feel like that. I just feel like they're going too hot. Also, Dom was like so excited. His excitement about sex is like weird to me. He was like, they should call this place Awesome Land, not Love Island, after he had sex.
Also, he said, you're best when you're naked. And she was not happy about it.
I was happy that she was not okay with that. Yeah. That's fucked up. He meant it as a compliment, obviously, but he not understanding why that could be offensive or like hurt her feelings is insane.
I also would assume, which I think is kind of like what her and Liv were talking about. I'm like, you're also saying this to a girl who is highly sexual. So has probably been called the slut a million times in her life, even though I don't agree with that.
Of course not.
That's probably, it's probably happened to her. So you saying that is just like, especially coming from a guy that she's fallen. She's really fallen. So like to come from a guy that you actually care about and like, that would really fucking hurt my feelings. And again, to your point, I don't think he meant it that way at all. But when she got offended, I was like, yeah.
And also, he doesn't have enough substance or brains to like be able to come back from that and be like, and to like understand what he should value in a partner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or like what's going to like make it last. And also like, again, they've known each other a week. So, maybe just try to get to know her a little bit more, man. That was messed up. He didn't mean it, but that's why she's like sensitive. And I thought the way she talked about it was like very articulate and like very much like in touch with like herself. I don't know. I like this group of women in general. They don't really like remind me of like a group of friends. Like I'm like sort of surprised by some of the friendships, except for Liv and Jess. But I do like that they just kind of like all get on with each other and kind of seem to have band together more or less.
To your point, I think that they all just like each other. And like when Camilla tried to go talk to Johnny and he just like walked off, I loved how Dom was like, uh-oh, she's walking off. She might be crying. Jess, go. And Jess literally got up and sprinted to make sure Camilla was okay.
I know. They're like taking care of each other.
In any other world, would Camilla and Jess be friends? Absolutely not. And you could tell that Jess like was worried and cared about her and wanted her to be like, just being like, you did nothing wrong. It's okay for you to talk to your friends. Like
Jess seems like a good friend. Like I would want her on my side, in my corner.
I would want her on my side too.
Can we talk about the recoupling? Can I make some predictions?
Yeah.
Do you remember what happens or did you watch ahead? I actually wanted to watch ahead, but I fell asleep.
I have not watched ahead and I'm pretty sure I remember what happens, but I would like to hear what you think happens.
Okay. So Johnny, I think, gets to pick first. And I don't think he's picking Olivia after their fight he told Chloe he had no interest in her. Right?
Wait, Johnny or Mike?
Mike. The two guys look the same. Mike gets to pick first. I feel like I really thought he was going to pick Olivia, but now I don't think so.
So now who do you think he's going to pick?
I think he's going to pick Montana. I think the fact that Montana is not like into him is like a challenge for him, and he seemed to like her and he liked their banter. So I think he's going to pick and she's also in a friend couple. So I think we got Mike and Montana. Who else? Marcel and Gabby, Dom and Jess, Kem and Amber. I think, and so that leaves Chris and Olivia. And then I guess Sam's the other guy, right? Oh, Sam and Johnny.
Sam, Johnny, Chloe.
Sam,
Camilla.
Chloe. But one girl and Tyne. Tyne's out. I think Tyne's out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I think Sam picks Camilla and Johnny picks Chloe. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Can't wait to find out. One thing you put into our notes that I thought was really important to discuss, the amount of pimple cream that's worn overnight. It's a lot. I mean, also, I've only ever encountered one overnight clearing product that works. It's a Dermalogica clearing gel. It's fucking awesome. It legitimately works, but nothing else does. Like literally, only this Dermalogica product.
I don't know if this works, but I just really like using it because it stings. Is the Mario Badescu, the like pink lotion or whatever. I don't know if it works or not. Also, like Montana had 17 spots on her face, and I was like, "Your skin is clear."
Yeah,
I'm not sure what.
There's nothing there.
What are you putting that? Are you just picking random spots? Do you want to be polka dotted? Like, it's just I don't understand because her skin literally glass.
Are they like, oh, someone else is doing it, so I'm going to do it too?
Yeah. I'm like, is it cool? Because every girl, Gabby had some on her arm.
Yeah, I know. It's like really weird. It also doesn't work. I mean, I've tried. I'm telling you, girls, Dermalogica clearing gel, that works. Nothing else does.
I'll have to try that.
How did you feel about the fashion advice they were giving Gabby before, or they were giving Tyne before she went on her date with Mike?
Well, Tyne needed it badly.
I thought it was really funny when Jessica was like, you could wear that if you want to like be a secretary.
Also, like, Tyne is a little like what she said she was going to say and stuff. And everyone was like, oh my God, don't say that. I'm like, you guys are telling her to not be herself.
Yeah, and she said, I'm going to be myself, which I thought was funny and a good instinct, but also like, oh, okay, everyone knows that Tyne has really bad chat.
Yeah. Which is also why she's on her way out. Yeah, no, she needed it. Someone tweeted us and said they're following along with us and that they have been interested in how they dress way more normally now, like than they do, like or way more normally in season 3 than they do now. Like now it is full bottle girl.
Yeah. And like
every night.
Where did you get the clothes? This is way more casual. Like they're wearing shorts sometimes. Like sometimes they're dressed up.
Yeah.
I like this
But
more.
even when they're dressed up, it's like what they would wear to the club. Yeah. Right now, it is, I'm not even sure. It's like do you remember the store BB?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a BB outlet. That's all they wear.
I kind of like it. They look like regular people.
Spandex dresses. No.
Yeah.
I'm saying what they wear now in season 9 is very like,
yes.
Yeah. It is like
mall. I'm going out.
Dresses with like cutouts everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the craziest clothing selection ever. And now it's much more like, oh yeah, this is what I would probably wear on a Wednesday morning.
Also less sharing so far. So I have to assume that the clothes they're given, like from eBay in season 9, are probably crazier.
Yeah. Like I don't even know if they're giving clothes here. It seems like everyone's just wearing the shit that they brought.
The guys' jeans are so tight. I was like, I kind of forgot about this era. I wrote it out of my head. It's tight, not a good look.
And they got to be stretchy.
Just like I don't like it.
They're like wearing jeggings.
Yeah. And that's like, ooh, no thanks. I miss Ron's style, his like very regular guy style.
Ron had great style. I don't even like tight jeans on women now. I'm like, the baggier, the better.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I agree. Like we've moved on from the jeggings phase. I think it's good for everyone. You know, find a new pair of jeans, people. So everyone I know is like having a hard time buying jeans now. Everyone over 35. I
was going to say it's our age.
Yes. Yeah.
Because like I'm not wearing super baggy low rise jeans.
No, me neither.
I'm like, am I going out to dinner or am I a break dancer? That's how I feel in those jeans.
When you're on Love Island, season 3 or season 9, it's very understandable to want to look on trend. These are young people. That's like what they're trying to project. Me, at 37, I want to look good. And that might not be on trend. Like I want to wear something that's like flattering, but it might not be like cool, but that's okay because I'm not on Love Island in 25. So
yeah, 100% agree. I would say I'm 33. This needs to be talked about more, actually. Okay. I think between the ages of 31 and 39, it's a really weird age
it's really hard.
for dressing.
It's really
like,
hard.
You're not over 40 and like trying to, be a different version of yourself, and you're not 30 and under, and you still feel comfortable in crop tops and coochie cutters.
Yeah.
You know what coochie cutter is?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, is that a word that people use? And so you're just in this weird like limbo of like, am I like super mom or am I like still young?
Yeah. I don't know. And I'm also just like, I think about it a lot. Like, what am I projecting with like the jeans that I'm choosing? But I don't want to look super hip. It's not where I am in my life, but I also don't want to look bad and like out of fashion.
Well, you know where I'm at?
Where?
I don't even think about, no, that's not true. I definitely think about what's hip, and I still want to be semi-hip. But more importantly to me than anything, I want to be comfortable.
I feel the same way with shoes. I basically like only wear comfortable shoes now. I just bought aerosols like clogs because I was like, oh, maybe these will be comfortable, but I'll look kind of cool. Yeah, it's really hard. I think about it every day.
Aerosol clogs brought you to cool?
I'll send you a picture. I think they could be cool. Okay. I'll let you know.
Okay. Please send me a picture. I would agree with shoes because I used to wear 6-inch heels. And even like up until 2020, pandemic hit, those heels were given away.
It's very hard for me to not wear like a tennis shoe, something with like a
sneaker. A sneaker is also, you can be very trendy with sneakers. You can still be very hip with sneakers.
It's a great part about New York is that you can just sort of like, sneakers are always appropriate. So
I think sneakers are appropriate everywhere except for Miami. Miami, you have to break the 6 inches out, which is rough.
Well, I haven't been there in a very long time, so maybe I won't go. Just know it with that knowledge. Any final questions for me, Callie?
Last thing I wanted to say was very similar to you noticing that they don't know what clear the air means. They also don't know what not bothered means because they only are bothered. They only say I'm not bothered when they're very, very bothered.
When they're very bothered, yeah.
When Chris and Montana had that back and forth, he's like, I'm not bothered. And she's like, well, you are. And he's like, no, I'm not. And she was like, well, if you weren't bothered, then you wouldn't be asking me if I thought he was more fit than you. And he was like, he was like, no, I just want to know. And she was like, yeah, you wouldn't want to know if you weren't bothered. He was like, fine, maybe I'm bothered. I was like, right.
You guys need to learn. It's true. They have no idea. The way they talk is just so funny. I'm constantly learning from these people. It's educational.
Slang is definitely at its peak right now. Like Love Island slang.
And I have to turn on the subtitles to make sure I'm keeping up. Sometimes I don't like the subtitles because I find them distracting, but I really need them.
I have to watch I have to have subtitles on for every single episode of Love Island since I started watching. And especially a northern accent is hard as hell. Like if Sam is on the screen, I'm only staring at the words. I don't know I can't even watch him.
He also talks so fast.
And like only half the word. Like I cannot, if I don't have subtitles on for Sam, I have no clue I don't even know what like category he's talking. Like I have nothing. I have
it could be anything.
He could be singing a fucking song in another language and I would think he was speaking English. I have no idea.
I'm ready for Sam to go. I hope he leaves soon. All right, everybody. Thank you to our producer, Ashleigh Smith. We'll be back on Monday. We are covering episodes 14 to 19. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you then. Crack on.